Motion, now comes back. Sorsby into the end zone. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Johnson with the catch.
Wildcat. Savion. Look at that nimble footing. Spin, baby, spin, and take it in. Sam Cook is coming to the game now in the backfield. And pressure coming. Ball is on the ground. Texas Tech might be in position.
Fafita out of the gun. Fafita underneath, caught. Touchdown, Arizona. Play fake. Robertson loads up. Taking a shot at the end zone, and it is Neal. Stretch play, got it. First down, touchdown, but
one scholarship offer out of high school, Sacramento State. Tyson. Here he goes. Another sundown.
Retzlaff in the corner. Caught. Touchdown. Cougars.
Out the play. Second down. Pressure coming. Weak side and a big hit. Ball is out.
Iowa State's win, and now we got him breaking rules. All kinds of room. Going towards the end zone inside the 10. And there, R.J. Harvey with all kinds of room. R.J. Harvey. He's got no one else to catch him. R.J. Harvey all the way.
Third down. Sanders surveys. Keeps his eyes downfield. Got him in. Touchdown.
Bowman launches down the middle. It's caught. It's Presley.
Second year started. That's his second defensive pass interference tonight. Donovan Smith wide open, and he finds
Brandon Rose. It's the captain, Mekhi Bernard. Play fake to him. He picks up a blitzer. The throw is caught.
And Green to throw. Green, one-on-one. Deep shot for the end zone toward Clement, who...
Episode starts now.
Welcome back, you motherfuckers. It's your Highness, Chad Patrick, and I got my man, 2-Unit Teddy, on the ones and twos. But if you don't know who I am, I'm your sports betting savant, your weed-smoking warlock. And today, we're diving headfirst into the biggest shit show in college football. It is Big 12 football. This ain't no SEC with their barbecue bellies, or even the Big 10 with their weird obsession with football, Iowa. This is Big 12 after dark. This is tortilla tossing, frog slapping, and farmers hitting harder than linebackers on a Sunday. Are you with me or are you against me? I got 2-Unit Teddy, the fluffiest killer of all the bad beats. Teddy, say hello to the people.
What up, what up?
All right, Teddy will chirp in when I need him. Otherwise, it's full throttle, guys. We don't got time for nothing else but college football. Teddy, are you ready?
You know it. Let's get into it.
All right. We are going to start off, and we're going to do this in alphabetical order. Let me tee it up a little bit. This is more for Teddy, so he knows the direction I'm going. We're going to go alphabetical order. We're going to go over the team's wins, what they got, the over-under lines, where we think they're going to do, and if we think we're going to do well, who's going to make the conference championship game, who's going to win the conference. But we're going to start in alphabetical order. That means the Arizona Wildcats is first up, and you know the drill, Teddy. T, the fight music. All right, folks, the Arizona Wildcats, the buzz, the hype down there in Tucson, the U of Gay, it's kind of cooled off a little bit. The coach, Jed Fish, he gone. They got a couple guys, Flafa guy, Noah, whatever the fuck the kid is. He's scrawny. He reminds me a little bit of J.D. Daniels back when he was at Arizona State. Real scrawny, lanky kid. The defense is fucking terrible. Bottom 3 in the Pac-12 or whatever the fuck conference. Well, I guess the Big 12. Sorry, I'm still stuck that they're in the Pac-12. I believe, and you can pull up the schedule. So this is the Wildcat schedule. Yeah, they got Arizona State here in Tempe, Arizona. They got to take the Bearcats of Cincinnati there on the Ohio River. They got to go to Boulder. They got to go to the Cougar Land. Jim Nance and the boys down there in Houston. And then Iowa State. Ames is going to be a tough place with the Cyclone. They got a tough fucking road schedule there. But I think this is a bust. I think this is a down year. The over-under line, Ted, I believe is 5.5. Can you confirm that, please? There it is on the screen. 5.5 is the line. I think under. Pull back up the schedule so we can go through this with the people. I'm going to go through and show you the wins and losses. Hawaii, Weber State are probably a dub. And then you probably don't see another W out of Arizona. Fuck me. I don't even know where I see it, but probably later back end, maybe Baylor at home. Yeah, because I don't think they beat ASU. I don't think they beat Cincinnati. Maybe that's what it is. So I think it's an easy under 5.5. I don't see 5 on. Look, let's give them benefit of the doubt. Hawaii, Weber State, sure. Kansas State, probably not. But let's give it to them. They're at home. That's 3. Iowa State, no chance. Oklahoma State, no chance. BYU, no chance. Houston, no chance. Colorado, not in Colorado. There's no way. This should be an easy layup. Arizona Wildcats under 5.5. Book it. We're not spending any more time with these fucking chuckleheads down there on the border. Moving on. And if you're watching there, let me throw it up. That's a shocker. That's 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink. But if you're here in Tempe, we put 2 in the stink, 1 in the pink. They call it the fork, whatever. It's the shocker sign. ASU, the Sun Devil, forks up. Play the fight music. They got the new kid. It's his second year. I believe it's his second year. Dillingham, I think, is that the coach's name? What's the coach's name there in ASU? I should know this. I did get it right. Perfect. Local kid. Went to high school, Chaparral High School here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Went to ASU. Got brought up through that kid, and I can't think of nobody's name today. The guy at Oregon, right? He went up through the ranks, got that pro. Anyways, very impressive. Very impressive first year, I thought. Cam Scataboo, right? That guy was kind of fun to watch. So they got the line at 8.5 for Arizona State. I think they get 8 to 9 wins. They picked up a lot of transfers through the transfer portal, so that's an upgrade. Defense did get upgraded a little bit. They had some guys come in from some Big Ten schools, some SEC schools. And they got 5 games, I believe, at home under the lights. Can you pull up their schedule for me, please, Ted? I don't think they get better this year, though. I think they stay about where they're at, maybe a slight step back around that 8 to 9 win range. So Northern Arizona will mop the floor. Mississippi State, do not be surprised. Mississippi State, not good. Do not be surprised if Arizona State goes down there to Stark Vegas and shows them boys how to play. Texas State should be a win. Baylor should be a win. That's 4 wins right off the rip. Primetime game at home on Fox. That's 8 o'clock Central Time because that's where fucking Tedward's located. So that would be a 6 o'clock start time here in Tempe. And for those that don't know, I live no more than 15 minutes, but probably can get there in faster than 15 minutes, but no more than 15 minutes from the stadium there at ASU. And I'm going to tell you, 6 o'clock at night into September, it's going to be about 92 degrees. And I know these guys, TCU, played there in Fort Worth, Texas. And I've lived in Austin, Texas for a while. I understand how the Texas humidity and heat. It's different out here. It's different out here. It's different out here. I don't know how to explain it if you ain't been here, but it ain't like there. And number one thing that most of these tourists come here that do physical activities outside is they get dehydrated and they don't even fucking realize it. So if you don't think that fucking factors in to the football game, it does. Now, I'm not naive. I'm not stupid. I realize they have professionals working on the athletic staff at Texas Christian University. I understand that they probably give these kids IVs before the game. That was something the Texas Rangers did during the summers, way back, 10, 15 years ago. Their training staff said, hey, we're going to start giving the guys IVs ahead of the games. Did wonders. All right. So 8.5, I believe, is the line. ASU, 8.5. And I think we're flirting either way. I don't see this going either way. If they end up with 9, not surprised. If they end up with 8, not surprised. The only thing that would shock me is if they were really bad or really good. Like an undefeated season or a one-loss season, that would shock me. And like a 4 or 5 win season would shock me. Anything else between like 6 and 10 wins would not surprise me in the least bit. So I just don't think there's much wiggle room there for the Sun Devils. All right, moving on to Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. By the way, you know how many Division I college football programs there are in Texas? A shit ton. But we're going to start off with the Baylor Bears. Sick 'em. Play the fight music. All right, Vegas has got the line for the Baylor Bears at 7.5, and I think it's spot on. I think that is spot on. They don't know who the quarterback officially is going to be at time of recording. They don't know who the quarterback is going to be down there in Baylor. Offensive line is going to be returning most guys, so that's a positive for them. Defense is completely revamped, so we'll see how that is. They were good defensively rushing, but against who they played, again, outside of like Utah and a couple of their teams, Big 12 not a huge running team. Oklahoma State with that Ollie Gordon guy. I remember he ran the ball a lot. But let's look at their schedule for the Baylor Bears. I think they got some tough road games. Again, I see 7 to 8 wins for the Baylor Bears. All right. So this is a bitch of a schedule is what it is, and that's partly why. I think the team will be better, but the record might not reflect that because they'll probably lose the first. Well, they will lose the first 2 games of the year. Samford, I believe that's up in Connecticut. They should win that game. Arizona State, we just talked about this. I could see it going either way. Either one of these teams could win that game. Since it is at Arizona State, it's at Baylor, I'll probably give the nod to Baylor there. Oklahoma State is going to be a tough game, but I think they match up well. That actually is probably a win. Kansas State's probably a loss. ECU's probably win. Cincinnati's probably a loss. We'll see on UCF. Utah probably beats them. Arizona's an easy win, but Houston will be a tough loss at the end of the year. I haven't fallen right in that line. 7 to 8. I think the line's spot on. Let's not spend any more time. Let's go Cougar hunt. Now, Teddy, I got a question before we jump into the BYU Cougars. Now, what's great about the Big 12 is we can double our pleasure with 2 Cougars. Talking about Cougars, the BYU Cougars. Strike up the fight music. So Vegas has a line for the BYU Cougars at 6.5. I think they actually are going to be a little better. Get to 8. I think I got them at 8 wins. I think over. Don't go crazy. That quarterback, he was out pounding some punani. He gone. They got a new kid coming in. I can't think of his name, but a new transfer kid coming in. Don't knock the altitude advantage at home. When they got some of these sea-level teams from like Texas coming in and playing at the altitude, it makes a difference. It matters, especially late in games. Let's look at the schedule, Ted. Pull up the schedule for the Cougs. They're a tough team, and they're a team where these kids don't lay down on or off the field. They're just sitting there soaking in their glory. Portland State, W. Stanford, W. ECU, I got a great story back when I was a collegiate individual about East Carolina University and Reggae by the Lake. If you're old enough and you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It was a lot of fun. The memories I do remember. But that should be a win. Colorado, tough, but I actually think they win. West Virginia, tough, but a W. Arizona's an easy dub. I think they lose to Utah. That's the, what's that rivalry called there between the Utes and the Cougs? Holy War or something? What is that called, Ted? Help me out.
Yeah, it's the Holy War.
The Holy War. You guys know about the soaking that goes on in Utah? It ain't so holy, or at least they're trying to feel a holy. I don't know. All right, so the Cougs, looking at the schedule, they lose to Utah. Utah Iowa State's a loss. Texas Tech's a loss. TCU's a win. Cincinnati is a loss. And UCF's a win. I think they get to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 wins. I think go over. Don't get super excited with this, but I think over is the correct play. Moving on to the Queen City. Down there on the Ohio River, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Band, play that fight music. All right, folks. Shout out to everybody down there in the natty, the nasty, the Cincinnati. By the way, just some advice if you're ever down there in Cincinnati. Don't go to any music festival. It's a rough time. If you know, you know. Stay off the streets of Cincinnati. You'll be safe. But who's not going to be safe is people traveling into Cincinnati trying to play some foosball. Vegas thinks they got about 6.5 wins in them, and I think the line is spot on. I got them sliding in at 7. Second-year coach coming in, still trying to put a little signature on the program. But I think the defense is really good, or it's going to be better than last year. I think they show up at home. I think they struggle on the road. Throw me the schedule up there for me. Let's take a look through this. Now, again, Luke Fickell, he's in Wisconsin. Remember, he's not there. Nebraska's a tough fucking game. Bowling Green's an easy win. Northwestern State's an easy win. Kansas should be tough. Iowa State should be tough. UCF should be tough. That's kind of a rivalry game now, I think, Ted, right? UCF, Cincinnati. I think that's kind of a rivalry game. Oklahoma State, tough game. Baylor, tough game. Utah, tough game. Get a W at Arizona. BYU, tough game. TCU, they'll probably win. They're going to get some wins, and they're going to win some ugly games, and they'll be close. And shout out to Matty Ice down there in Cincinnati, the longtime member of the community, diehard Cincinnati Bearcat fan. It's going to be a tough season, my man, because they're going to be in close games, a lot of close games, and they're not going to finish. Talking about not finishing, your wife would appreciate. No, I'm joking. So that's the Cincinnati Bearcats. I think they're in tight, close games. They don't win a lot of games. They'll sneak into a bullshit game, a bowl game. You know, they'll sneak in with 6, 7 wins. They'll get into like the, Car Stereo 1 bowl or something like that in the beginning of December. All right, let's move on to the Deion Sanders, Coach Sanders, the Buffs, Colorado. I don't know who's playing on the team. I think they all left. But not the coach. The coach has stayed there through cancer, missing toes, everything else. Strike up the fight music for the Buffs. All right, Vegas has got the line at 5.5, and Vegas knows their shit because it's spot on. Who's throwing the rock? We don't know. Who's catching the rock? We don't know. Who's going to play defense? We don't know. Nobody was doing this shit last year. You were just lied to. You were made to believe that a 5th-round quarterback that's starting game 1 of the preseason. By the way, that's not a good thing. So anyways, yeah, Shedeur Sanders starting week 1 preseason for the Cleveland Brownies. That's not a good thing, folks. That's a bad thing for him. It'll be entertaining as fuck to watch. By the way, by the time this episode drops, I think that it will be the day in which he starts, Thursday or Friday. So I think if you're listening to this, pay attention. Cleveland Browns going to Carolina. Shedeur Sanders is going to start game 1 preseason when all the actual players don't even suit up. Game 1 starters in the preseason is like, are you even going to make the 52-man roster? So we'll see what the kids got. Travis Hunter was the biggest overhyped fucking Heisman Trophy winner we've ever seen. In your lifetime, Ted, and mine too. I think he'll do okay in Jacksonville. But still, they need to replace that talent. There was talent. I'm not going to lie. He was very talented. We're not arguing that point. The numbers were inflated. That was the problem. Sanders, again, no, it wasn't the greatest quarterback. I've never seen a quarterback take like a 40-some yard sack before, but Sanders, kudos to him. But here's the deal. The public loves Sanders. The public loves the Buffs. So if anything, we don't bet preseason. We wait till the season starts. In the first couple games, we fade these fucks. Pull me up the schedule, Ted. All right. Georgia Tech for Colorado is going to be a tough game. They play good defense there, Georgia Tech. I'm not going to say one way or the other. That game could go either way. Delaware should be a W. They're going to lose to Houston. Wyoming should be a W. BYU, they're going to lose to. TCU should be a W. Iowa State should be a loss. Utah should be a loss. Arizona should be a win. West Virginia. John Denver, bring me home. They got to go on the road. That's going to be a loss. Arizona State's too good for them. And Kansas State at Little Manhattan, that's going to be tough. I don't see a lot of wins here. But here's what I would do. I'm actually going to fade Colorado week 1 versus Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets down there in Atlanta, the future engineers of this world. Pull me up DraftKings. Do they have the line for August 29th? Colorado, Georgia Tech. See if you can pull that up for me, Ted. All right. So Georgia Tech, Colorado, week 1. They actually have the Buffs as a dog. I like it. I think it's right. I mean, the lines actually moved a half a point towards, it did open at 3.5, moved a half a point. Here's what we're going to do. You're not going to bet this game anytime soon. Put this in your reminders, your notes, whatever you got on your phone. When it gets time to where the public starts betting on these games, so we're talking the Friday before, right, the day of, this line will move back towards Colorado. If I can get Georgia Tech at -2.5 or better, we're taking that. So put it in your notes, set a reminder for whatever, August 28th, but you'll come back and we'll visit this because I think we'll see the public move the line back towards Colorado. But I think 5.5 is a fair over-under line. If anything, lean under for Colorado, not over. Moving on. The Houston Cougars, Vegas has at 6.5. Not so fast, my friend. But before we jump in, I need to hear a little of those tunes down there from Houston. Play the fight music. All right, like I said, Vegas has got these boys 6.5. FanDuel is real juicy, but actually 5.5. Smoking crack cocaine is a hell of a drug. That's what these books are doing, because I'm telling you, this is going over. Over where? Over there. Pull up the schedule. We're going to go week by week with them for the folks. But they got this Donovan Smith kid, I believe. He's a stud. Defense, going to be much better. And I think they were good last year, but be much better. They got one of maybe the deepest wide receiver rooms in the conference. And they just got a bunch of ballers, man. A bunch of talented athletes. Don't sleep on the Cougs. F. Austin, win. Rice, win. Colorado, we already just talked about them. They suck. Win. That's 3, Ted. You count for me. Oregon State, win. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Arizona's a win. Arizona State's a loss. West Virginia, win at home. UCF on the road's a win. That's a great matchup for the Cougs. TCU's a win. Baylor, we'll say they lose the Baylor games. 6.5 plus 120. DraftKings, pull it up. Confirm that I'm giving these people right information. It dropped to 110. All right. So get on this now because I think people are wising up. Actually, fuck it. We're on the show right now. I'm putting in the bet right now because I'm telling you, this line is going to move. People are going to wise up and realize that the Cougs getting the fucking 7 wins should not be that challenging. Give me a second while I pull up my draft. I'm going to put on DraftKings. Wins. Big 12. Houston. 6.5. Fire. All right, we're in. Let's do it. Got to get to 7 for Houston. That's on the show, just betting it right there because I'm not waiting till afterwards to do it. Usually I do the show and then I go back and make the bets afterwards. We're not waiting. This was 120 yesterday. It's down to 110. Things are moving. And I'm right. This thing, I bet you right now, and you don't have to pull this up, Ted, but FanDuel is off the 5.5. I bet you that line's to 6.5. I bet you they already moved that. I guarantee it. All right. Moving on. And I'm going to give you a little hint here. To my favorite team in the whole fucking conference for many reasons. For those that live in the areas, that's what happens when a tornado warning happens and the cyclones are coming in. Play the fight music then. Now, I'm not going out on a limb like I did with Toledo. I'm not going out on a limb like I did with SMU. But I am going to say this. Vegas thinks the Cyclones are only good for 7. Wrong. Iowa State Cyclones are winning the Big 12. Let me say that again. Maybe you were fiddling with your Peter there. Iowa State Cyclones are the Big 12 champions this year. And I believe 13-1 odds is what you can get them at. I think they get the 9, probably 10, but definitely 9 wins regular season. I think they have the best defense in all of the Big 12 this year. And again, I love the coach Campbell. Offensive line, I think they return everybody, or at least 4 out of 5 guys. That was the problem last year. Offense in Iowa or Iowa State, doesn't matter. That was an issue. I think it's not a huge upgrade, but it's significant. If you want to make an NFL reference, think of the Baltimore Ravens, the Ray Lewis, when they beat the Giants in the Super Bowl, right? Ed Reed, that type of defense at the collegiate level, and they got their version of Trent Dilfer running the rock. Don't expect a ton of offense, but expect very good defense and very methodical, short gains, run the ball, short passes, kind of like a West Coast offense. Not exactly a West Coast offense, but kind of like a West Coast offense coming out of Iowa State. I think they have the senior or the leadership on experience. I think Campbell's got these guys very disciplined. They don't make a lot of stupid mistakes late in games. But yes, tornado sirens going around. Tornado sirens going around in Ames, Iowa, because the Cyclones are getting ready to take over the Big fucking 12 this year. Kansas Rock Chalk Jayhawks next. I know they got a good little fight song there, Teddy. Strike that shit up for me. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. It's not basketball season yet, guys, but we'll give you a little love on the football show. Vegas says, well, at least DraftKings says 6.5. FanDuel says 7.5, and I think neither one's wrong and neither one is right. They have the Daniels kid quarterback, and the offense was much improved. I think they're on the uptick, Kansas, uptick football-wise. I know they've been a joke in football for decades. Lance Leipold is the guy's name, maybe. I think that's the coach's name. Anyways, I really like what they got going on there in Lawrence, I believe. Lawrence, Kansas. So are they the top dog or one of the top dogs in the Big 12? No, but these guys are going to be a bowl-eligible team. They're going to give some teams some hard times. So, good, but not great year out of the Jayhawks. I think don't touch the line because Vegas has got this right. All right, Vegas says 8.5. I say that's a little steep. If you got to lean, you got to lean under. Under where? Under right there in Manhattan, Kansas. Avery Johnson, I believe, is still throwing the rock there. He's a little bit of a dual threat quarterback, can run it, can throw it. Offensive line was pretty good last year. Defense, complete reload. I think the Sunflower Showdown between Kansas State and Kansas is going to be a hell of a game this year. I think these teams are pretty much equal talent-wise, pretty much spot on talent-wise. They have them like 5-1 to win it all. Don't even think about that. Don't fucking even think about Kansas State. K-State, no chance winning the Big 12. Neither does this next team. Oklahoma State. It's weird to not having Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12. And normally I would leave that song for the real Oklahoma. Please stand up. But it's all right. I'm a man. I'm 40. It's cowboy time. Play the fight music. All right, I got these guys coming in around 6 or 7 wins, which is a little bit better than what Vegas 4.5 to 5.5 is where that line is. Ollie Gordon still on the roster, Ted?
No, he's with the Miami Dolphins.
Ollie Gordon is gone. Quarterback competition. There's a lot of reasons not to like Oklahoma State this year. Defense sucked last year, right? Defense was terrible last year. But here's the deal with the Cowboys. Let's look at the schedule, Ted. Before I say something really stupid, let me look at the schedule. UT Martin, win. Oregon, loss. Tulsa, win. Baylor, win. Arizona, win. So they are 4-1 heading into that Houston game, which they lose. They lose to Cincinnati. They lose to Texas. They lose to Kansas. They lose to Kansas State. They win at UCF. They lose to Iowa State. I think that gives them 6 wins. I wouldn't touch the over, but I think over is the play. Definitely over 4.5. But 6. I mean, if they got to 7, wouldn't shock me. 6-win team. Might backdoor a bowl game. Not a good one, but backdoor. Let's head to Texas. Hit up that fight music, baby. Down there in Fort Worth, Texas. Vegas says 6.5. I say slightly less than that. I think 6. I don't see 7 in their future. The only thing is it's heavily juiced to go over 6.5. Getting only to 6 is plus money, around 130, plus 140. Let's see the schedule. I think they got the Hoover kid supposed to be quarterbacking. They were 104 in defense in red zone stops last year. I don't see where that improves much this year. I'm not sure how long the coach keeps his job there, to be honest with you. The frog skin helmet, though, is pretty cool. North Carolina. We're going to find out real quick on both these teams because I think both these teams are just this year. But I say if they got to travel to Chapel Hill, give it to the Tar Heels. Abilene Christian, that's a joke. I mean, why are we still playing these games in college football? Get the fuck out of here. All right, so they get 1 win with there. SMU embarrasses them. ASU embarrasses them. They'll be competitive against Colorado, but I think the Buffs get it done. Kansas State beats them. Baylor will be a close game. West Virginia, close game. Could go either way. Iowa State, BYU, Houston, Cincinnati all beat them. So I got 1, 2, 3. I got maybe 5 wins. I think I even overshot. I don't think I see 6 on here. 1, 2, 3. I got 5 wins, Ted. I think unders to play. 1 unit, nothing crazy. This isn't 2022. They ain't beating Michigan. And I don't think they beat the Tar Heels. 135 on DraftKings. I think that's worth the squeeze, just like a little 1 unit. Next up, if you know your alphabet, we're staying in the T's, and I like a good T after good T, a little tit-T. Give me the double T's. Texas Tech. Red Raiders. Tee up that 5 music, baby. This is, and for the ACC, Ted, we did love and hate. And we can do it for this. I hadn't prepped it, but we can do it for this. If Iowa State is my lover boys for the conference this year, Texas Tech is my, whatever the opposite, hater boys, not hater. But this is my hate list. Not a fan of the Red Raiders this year. Vegas says 8.5, and I say in what fucking world? 6 wins max, and you'll pull up the schedule. They think they got a new coach still there in Texas Tech. They brought in some SEC guys for the offensive line. But I think it's all hype, all fluff there in Lubbock. They got some bullshit wins. They start off 3-0. People are going to get excited. Then they lose. Until Oklahoma State, they get their 4th win. And then they lose. They think they beat either UCF or West Virginia of the year. 5 wins. 5 fucking wins. This isn't close. This is a 3-unit play, Teddy. 3 units. It's plus money. I almost want to say more, but maybe there's something I'm not missing. Put the schedule back up there. Let me see if I can even figure out where we can even get to 8 wins with these guys. All right, the first 3 games, I'm giving them the first 3 games. That's 3 wins. And then they lose the next 4. That's 3-4. Let's give them Oklahoma State. That's 4-4. They're not beating Kansas State. That's 4-5. They're not beating BYU. That's 4-6. They beat UCF. So they're 6-6. If I got them winning the last 2. There's no fucking 8 wins in there. There's no fucking 8 wins. Screw this, Ted. Fuck the 3 units. We're going 5. 5 fucking units. Right now, if you're sitting at home and you place the bet for 3, I want you to go back in, pull that bet slip in, and put another 2 fucking units on. Texas Tech Red Raiders under 8.5 regular season wins. Under is 130 the best we can find, Ted. Under. Ted, what are we doing with Texas Tech?
Under.
Perfect. Underwear. Under 8.5. Don't shit your underwear when they start off 3-0. I already told you they're going to. They start off 6-0, then we can start sweating. All right, let's move on to the Golden Knights. The Knights. Central Florida. I believe it's one of the largest student bodies in the nation. You can fact check me on that. UFC Knights. They got a fight song. What does it sound like, Ted? Vegas says 5.5. Your Highness says 6. I call that the same. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time in fucking Orlando or even Kissimmee. Kissimmee. You know, when you go to Disney, you're not in Orlando, right? Do we know this yet? Do people know this? If you don't, now you know. I don't care if you're anywhere in the 407. Oh, I think that's the area code there, zip code. Area code. 407. I don't care if you're anywhere in the 407. Don't waste your time with UCF football this year. There is no Blake Bortles walking through that door, okay? I'm not spending any time. 6 wins. They think 5.5. Let's move on. It's a long show. And back out to Mormon land. Utah, the Utes. One of my greatest, funniest, best fucking lines I've ever loved in any cinematic picture is Joe Pesci. My cousin Vinny, the Utes. What do you mean the Utes? The Utes. Utah, head me out there, Teddy. What does that fight music sound like there in the great mountains of the West? All right, Vegas has got Utah Utes 7.5. Real fucking juicy, though. Like -175, -165. I don't care. And maybe we can do it all to 9 because I think they get to 9, maybe 10. I actually think Utah might be playing Iowa State for the championship. That's what I think. 6-1. Iowa State's a long shot. That's what people think I'm crazy. But we're going to have 2 defensive teams going at it in a conference that's not normally known for good defense. Weird, right? Defense wins championships, and it will this year in the Big 12. Cam Rising, I heard, is still playing quarterback at Utah. Can you confirm this, Ted?
Yes, he is.
He's like 30 years old.
26.
Cam Rising probably started college before COVID. And I still feel like COVID year was like, fucking feels like it was just yesterday. Anyways, defense is going to be very stout in Utah. They ended on a little bit of a win streak last year. I think that's something to build on. But this is all literally going to ride on Cam Rising's back. And as somebody else who's in their 30s, I'm telling you, your knees start hurting a little bit, your back starts hurting a little bit, but this is your dark horse. And I understand we're putting all our eggs on one guy, Cam Rising. But he's going to rise up. Tommy, some people do go to college for 7 years. Yeah, Richard, they're called doctors. I think I got that line mixed up. All right, moving on to West Virginia. John Denver, I don't care what the fight song is, Teddy. I want you to splice in, and don't get us copyrighted here, a little John Denver. Country Roads, Take Me Home. Take me home, country roads. to the place where I belong. West Virginia. What's mama? Home. The roads. Make me sound better. You know what I'm saying? But we can just use my audio. Vegas says 6.5. I say we go over just a little bit. Pull me up the schedule, please. They got Rich Rod back where he's supposed to be in life, in the cousin fucking state of West Virginia. There is no White. Remember that kid? I can't think of his first name. White was that quarterback for West Virginia back when Rich Rod was the quarter. Right? I'm not off here.
Pat White.
Pat White.
Yep, Pat
lefty,
White.
right? Wasn't he a lefty? Now they got another white kid on the team. I don't know his first name. He's a running back. And I don't mean white kid, but his last name's White. I think Rich Rod's coming back with another white kid. West Virginia Mountaineers will be a little bit better than people think, but nothing crazy. Robert Morris, shout out to JJH if you're watching, darling. I appreciate it. Why don't you show up to a meetup event sometime? His name is Jody, for those that don't know. Ohio's a win. Pittsburgh's going to be a tall fucking game. Was it at the backyard brawl? All right, that's a backyard brawl. West Virginia Mountaineers and the Pitt Panthers. That's a good beat-em-up game. I like West Virginia. Kansas is a tough game, especially after that. There's a fucking letdown game where they could lose a game here that they maybe shouldn't. Tough fucking game on ESPN September 13th. Pitt Panthers, rivalry game. And then you got to go to Lawrence, Kansas and play those guys who are going to put up some numbers. That might be a game they lose. And then they got to play Utah, which I already told you. I think if Cam Rising's still playing come September 27th, Utah wins that game. BYU is going to be tough, but I think they can win possibly. And then they rip off a couple wins against UCF and TCU. Houston loses. Colorado's a win. Arizona State is a loss. And remember, we talked about the Red Raiders. They suck dick hard in Lubbock. That's a W. I think we land on 7-8. I'm not betting this. But I am excited to see Rich Rod back in West Virginia. He should have never went to Michigan. As a Michigan man, I'm just going to say this. What a fucking disaster. All right, is that all 16 teams, Ted?
Yeah, buddy.
And I did it in under an hour.
I like it.
Good. Now I got to talk for some time here. All right, so let's do a little recap. Let's do a little recap so those that just fast forward to the end like the little cocksuckers they are, we'll still give them the information. So here is my take on the Big 12. I am really, really high on Iowa State. I am also really high, but only if we're rising, Cam, with Utah. I think those two teams play for the Big 12 championship with the Cyclones, right? The Cyclones, woo, right? Cyclones winning the Big 12. Let me really foreshadow some college football here. Crazy shit for you. Crazy shit. This will come back, hopefully, and play. And people will go years from now, this guy, who the fuck is this guy? Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Matt Campbell. Jason Candle is Toledo's current coach. Matt Campbell is, right? I hope I got that right. All right. He is going to win, Campbell is going to win with Iowa State a Big 12 championship this year. That's going to put them in the playoffs. They're going to put them in the playoffs. And I think they're not going to win it all. But I think they're going to shake some shit up for some people. Meanwhile, down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I can't. Ken DeBoer, what the fuck's that? Keith DeBoer. What's the coach's name down there in Tuscaloosa, Alabama?
Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, there you go. The kid from the Washingtons. Now, on the other episode, I went off on a tangent about how you got to hire coaches who have proven in more than one place. That guy's not. He's going to be out the door within a year or two of Bama. They're tired of his shit. He gone. Bama hires Matt Campbell before the 2028 season to be the head coach of the Crimson. And if I'm wrong, whatever, you come at me. That's fine. But I'm just telling you, I foresee Campbell coaching Alabama within 3 years. And because he wins a Big 12 championship this year. All right. The teams I hate that I want you to avoid. Number one, the biggest team I want you to fade is, Ted, were you paying attention?
Under.
Red Raiders. Red Raiders. I really did not like this year. Arizona. I mean, here's the crazy thing. You think a 5.5 win team is like, okay, well, nobody thinks it's going to be. No, I think Arizona Wildcats are going to be atrocious. I think they're going to be terrible, really, really bad. Like the laughing stock of the Big 12. Like they might not win a single conference game. Like that's how bad I think. So I think, and TCU, that's fine. But really, Red Raiders, Arizona Wildcats are the two teams I absolutely would avoid or go under and just avoid the fuck out of. Other hand, Iowa State. I love you. I love Iowa State. I really love Iowa State. I love Iowa State. Hey, Ted, you know what team I really like in the big? Iowa State. I really like Iowa State. So that's what we're going to do. Guys, I'm going to leave you with one last thing. 16 teams in the Big 12. I think Iowa State, like I said, cuts down, not the Nets, whatever they do in college football. They're hanging their trophy up at the end of the year. This conference is not going to be anything what you think it was last year. Arizona State was the representation for it. No, they'll be good, not as great. I think teams were looking for a lot of high-powered, explosive offenses and a lot of shitty defenses. Oh, I think really good defensive teams in the Big 12 are going to be the good teams this year. So everything you think about the Big 12 from last and previous years, I would flip that upside down and get ahead of the public on this. Get ahead. I'm telling you right now, I'm letting you get ahead of these people. By the time this airs, we're going to be in the first or second week, August. Get the fuck ahead of these people. I'm telling you, the one line was already moving. It moved 10 points, 10 cents on the dollar just overnight. By the time, it might be even money by the time you're listening to this. The last promo we are running for the community for the rest of the year ends on August 28th. And then we're seasonal pricing, folks. We're going seasonal pricing, which is 8 months, you pay the higher rate. 4 months, you pay a much lower rate. It still works out to where you pay $50 a month. I think that's a great spot. 2 units, most people, that's about $50. I think that's fair. But if you're still here at the end of this episode, use the code STAYHIGH. That locks you in for the lifetime of your membership as long as you keep it for only $33 a month. Guys, that's less than $400 a year. If you're even at $5 better, you will make the year's fucking membership cost in 1 month. 1 month of football, 1 month of hockey, you will pay for your whole fucking year. $33 a month. Should be criminal to put out a price this affordable.
Your wife is out here auto-subscribing to gluten-free dog biscuits. Buys how many Starbucks a week? And what the hell is with this organic birdseed that the Amazon driver keeps dropping off? But you're too much of a bitch to sign up for something that actually makes you money? Sign up now at WeWinYouWin.com.